Okay, so my first question for you is, where did you grow up?
In a little town called Jim, up Burke Canyon.
And what are some of your first memories of Jim?
Well, we moved up there. I originally came from Black Cloud. That's up 9 Mile.
Okay.
I started school at the Black Cloud School. It was a one-room school with 6 grades in it. And about 2 weeks into my first grade year, they shut the school down and transferred us to Wallace. So I did my first and second grade classes in Wallace. And my parents moved from 9 Mile in 1956 up Burke Canyon because 9 Mile did not have telephone yet or television up there. Television was brought in by cable.
And Burke did?
And Burke did.
Interesting.
And they moved a week after school started. But to make sure that I made school on time, my mother brought me every day to school in Burke for my 3rd grade classes.
That's pretty cool. So,
and then we moved up, and then I rode the bus from Jim to Burke.
It's impressive. I didn't know there was a place called Black Cloud.
It's still there.
Interesting. Nope, didn't know that.
The school that stood when I went is still standing. It's now a private home.
I believe I've seen it. It's like partway up.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your favorite childhood memory?
The Burke swimming pool.
Tell me about the Burke swimming pool.
The Burke swimming pool was the premier swimming pool on this end of the valley, no matter what anybody says. It was built by Hecla Mining Company. It was maintained by Hecla Mining Company. It opened on the 4th of July weekend, and it closed on Labor Day weekend. They had a full-time lifeguard there. It was 7 foot deep on the deep end, down to nothing, tapered down to nothing for what they considered a baby pool. It had lockers, showers, all concrete. It was honestly, for the time, state of the art.
Was it heated?
Yes, it was. It was heated by coal heated. And that was part of the lifeguard's responsibility, was to keep the boiler going. And about the time water got warm, it was time to drain the pool and clean it again. It got cleaned every 7 days.
So their filtration system was just a lot of draining and cleaning and refilling?
That was it, yeah.
Where did they refill from?
A little place, it's the dam at this point in time is still there. It's above Burke. There was a dam built across the creek, freshwater creek, and it was flumed down through a wooden flume line all the way to the Star Mill, and that was the water for the Star Mill. And we also got water for the pool out of that.
Oh, that's cool. I wasn't quite sure where all the flume work went, so that's cool to know where that went.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite thing to do as a kid?
Gosh, that was a good one. You know, you're talking about a time period. I grew up, like I say, in the 50s, early 60s. The canyon, the whole entire district only had 3 channels on the television. So the sitting around in front of the TV set was completely out of question. So we literally played outside. And at that point in time, there was a lot of kids at Burke Canyon, so you played with the other kids, you know. And the problem with Burke Canyon was you had 3 evils. You had the road,
Mm-hmm.
you had the creek, you had the railroad track. And the problem was that your parents didn't want you to play on any of those 3, and it left very little options. And another bad thing was that all the mines were shut down in the 50s, but behind them was all them old mine buildings. And so we would build, especially in the wintertime, we'd build tires and swings inside those old buildings from old rope that we found around the mine down. And go up there and swing it sometimes 50 feet in the air, Nobody ever got hurt, no one ever got killed.
How much trouble would you have been in if your mom would have found out?
I still wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Some things our parents don't know are okay.
Yes.
That's funny. What is one place that you really miss?
The entire town of Burke.
So what kind of things do you remember in the town of Burke?
Nothing in particular, just the whole atmosphere. It was built up. At that point in time, it was actually built on both sides of the road. There was still quite a bit of it left. There was not much up there for kids, but it was just a good, fun place to go. There was a lot of bars up there, so there was music going on all the time, and you could hear the conversations. And at that point in time, everybody was fairly happy. That could have been because of all the bars too. But I would safely say that I miss Burke.
So nothing in particular, just the entire atmosphere?
The whole place,
And how far, the part that you miss, where would you consider it to begin and end for the town of Burke?
It's one of those things that when you're growing up, nothing's ever going to change. And when you get grown, and down the way, you think, how long has that been gone? Where did it go? I don't remember it leaving. It's just gone. And you talk to other people in your own age, in your same age bracket, and they got the same problem. You don't really notice the change and things going away until one day you wake up and it's gone, and you think, how long has that been gone?
One for me is, what used to be there?
That's it. Yeah, what used to be there. Yeah.
Because something was there when you were a kid, but you just can't quite.
Well, and then what's really ironic as you grow older, there was things that was there that you didn't know what they were. They were just there. It was a building, and it's just a building. Then you get older, and somebody starts talking about something, and you say, well, where was that at? Well, that was that. Oh, I remember that, but I didn't know what it was,
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it happens very, very easily.
And you're right. Things change so gradually sometimes that it's not until later you're like, wait a minute.
Well, our major change happened here in 1980 when Bunker Hill shut down, and that snowball began rolling, and it shut down sawmills and mines, and that's when we noticed that things were dying. But the truth was, it was dying from right after World War II, because there was so much work here, you didn't notice when a job, a mine, a sawmill, or something shut down, because there was just another job just down the road, and then all of a sudden, it caught up with you.
And there wasn't necessarily another job down the road.
No, then you noticed the word change. Then you started realizing, this is gone, that's gone. You're too busy being young.
Yeah. I think that's true. Change happens because it's not a big deal. You're used to change. Change is what happens.
Yeah, you're used to it, If you've seen a business go down, you think, well, guys, there's 7 more of them. What's the big deal? Well, all of a sudden, there's no more of them,
Nice. So if you could leave one thought, memory, or message for future generations, what would it be?
Can I put in a plug?
You can.
I wrote a book.
I'm glad you were mentioning it because I was gonna. So
it's called Burke, the Elusive Dream. And if I had anything I want to leave behind me, it would be that. And that was my intent for doing it.
And Becca helped you with it, is that correct?
My granddaughter helped me. I'd written the book, but I didn't know what to do with it. And one day, if you ever get in this position where you don't set out to write a book. I didn't. I set out just to. COVID hit, and we couldn't just go out and do things with people, so you're trapped at home, and you get tired of doing things, so I started writing down things. And then the next day or two, I'd read it, and I'd think, this is a pretty good story. And so I started putting my stories in content, and I woke up one day and realized I had a book. And I didn't know what to do with it. And my granddaughter was computer smart enough that she helped me do something with it. So because of her, it was, she helped me get a publisher, we got it published, and that's the way the story went.
So are they stories from your memory? Are
No.
they things that you've picked up from other people?
No, the story, if I can plug the book,
Absolutely.
the stories actually starts day one, hour one, the first discovery of war in Burke.
Oh, cool.
And it starts in 1884, and it ends in 1980, when the Star Mine shut down. And it covers all the adventures and everything that happened up there with the people that were there and what went on. It's not a personal story about anybody in particular. It's about the people that were there, the events that happened, and what happened, what went on up there. And it was a shock to me. I grew up in Burke, and I thought I knew it. And when I started doing research, I realized the more I learned, the less I knew. And Burke, obviously, is very personal to me. Burke is more responsible for the beginning of the Coeur d'Alene Mining District than people realized, that I even realized. Burke was a catalyst that brought in the railroad. It was a catalyst that brought in electricity. It was also the catalyst that started the labor problems here. And it all started in Burke. And the ironic thing about Burke was its lifetime was less than 30 years. It was after things started going bad for Burke. After that, it was a slow, brutal, nasty death. Mining towns don't die overnight.
No, and
They
go
have to
down
die
sadly.
very slowly. Very, very slowly.
And they're very sad to watch.
They're very sad to watch, extremely sad to watch. And the thing is, like I earlier said, I came in 56. Burke was dead in 1956. I didn't realize that.
I wouldn't have, because
No.
I remember there still being things when I was a kid.
Yeah, but it was dead. It just hadn't laid down yet.
It's because
And
of
it
fires.
took, yeah. As long as there was still some jobs there, there was life there. When the Star Mine shut down, that was it. And the town of Burke, the mines weren't there for the town of Burke. Burke was there for the town, for the mines. And everything up there, the people, the trees, the creek, the mountains, it was all there at the disposal of those mines. And when the ore ran out, they just walked away.
One of the things that I found very interesting about Burke was, as I have found going through things, is that a lot of Burke's money built Spokane.
A lot of Burke's money built Spokane. A lot of the investors that came in and pulled the strings here never lived here.
Yeah.
Some of them never stepped foot in here.
And then a bunch of the people that made their money here took it to Spokane.
They took it to Spokane. And behind them, they left the old mine sites. They left the pollution in the creek. They took the money, took the profit, and they walked off.
And we're not the first town to see it.
That's the story of a mining town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There have been a few that I've run across
Yeah.
through the years that
They're
their
all that
story
way.
is very similar.
That's the story of money, too.
Yep. Take your money and run.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share?
No, I'm pretty well talked out.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
that
it.
worked real well.